So if an idol's representative emoji is an eagle, does that make them an honorary American minor?
Well, Jay's American, so I think yes.
Should we throw him a fireworks show? Hi, welcome to the Lunapod, where we talk all things K-pop. I'm Raquel.
And I'm Brooke, and today we'll be celebrating all of our American idols. And what we mean by that are all of our K-pop idols that were born in America.
We decided we needed to come up with our own president and vice president for this episode, and we voted Johnny Suh into our president's seat.
And we chose him because most of the time when people think about an American idol, I think Johnny's usually the first pick. I don't know, he's just an American boy.
Just an American boy.
American boy.
American boy.
CLA.
We were talking about this just a second ago, but with Johnny Suh in The Office, listen, he's hilarious, but he's also hot. Okay, and I just was thinking of Marilyn Monroe singing to the president. And
that's us.
That's
going to be us.
Johnny, welcome to the Oval Office. We are going to Marilyn Monroe every day for you.
And so since he needs a vice president, we're going to go along with our Chicago King theme here and vote Peniel as our vice president.
I love B2B with all of my heart, and Peniel deserves this vice president seat more than anyone else. I think he's probably one of our most quoted idols in our household.
Yes.
All of B2B is very quoted in our household.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, Youngkwon can be Peniel's campaign manager.
A great idea.
Yeah, he just give up.
Give up.
That's his slogan.
So we need a new national anthem, which is, of course, Freedom by Ju Honey.
That is perfect for our 4th of July celebration here. Freedom, freedom. That's literally perfect. Thank you, Ju Honey. Along with our presidential seat, I guess you could say, there's a lot of idols who have American roots, so let's talk about it.
Of course, we need to start off with the guy that has been heavily on our mind, Matthew, BM.
From Card, oh my gosh.
He's crazy.
He absolutely.
So he was born in LA, raised there, and moved to South Korea at age 19 to audition for Kpop Star. And he entered within the top 50, but since at the time he grew up in America and wasn't like already practicing Korean often, his Korean wasn't the best at the time. And so later he just ended up being recruited by his current company that he's with.
I'm really glad he's with Card. I'm not gonna lie,
It's a perfect fit.
Yeah. Another LA baby we need to talk about is Joshua from 17.
He often went to Koreatown, where he ended up being scouted by Pledis, his current company, and auditioned and moved to South Korea to train.
Another idol who is from LA is Usung from The Rose. He was also on Kpop Star with BM, but he took a break to teach English and then went back to music.
Which I think is really cool.
Yeah,
like
that
moving
is
to
really
Korea
cool.
and then teaching English. It's really cool.
That's like what we do as normal people. Like, we're like, oh yeah, like let me go teach English in another country. And then he's like, actually, I'm gonna be a K-pop star.
Yeah.
Which he recently just did like an entire American tour. I really wish we could have caught him when he
that
did
would have
that.
been nice.
But... And our last LA idol we're going to talk about is Mark Tuan. He was scouted by JYP during school and then moved to South Korea. Another notable place where a lot of idols tend to come from is New York.
Our first one is our girl Jessie. So from what I gathered, she was born in New York but kind of grew up more in New Jersey. And she ended up moving to South Korea at 15, and her journey's pretty interesting. She kind of moved around to different groups, like debuted a few times. And then she ended up going solo under P Nation. She was the first artist signed under P Nation.
That is so cool. Stay tuned for an episode. We'll probably end up doing an episode all about Jessie.
We definitely want to focus on some soloists that we like.
Next, we're going to talk about Vernon from 17. He moved to South Korea at age 5 and was street scouted at age 14.
I feel like that's a young age, but honestly, so many idols are scouted at that age.
That's very true. And then they train for a couple years or not, and they're just babies when they enter.
Yeah, and we know it was so off his looks. He's been a visual since birth.
Facts.
Amazing genes.
Good for him. Speaking of genes, his mother was actually American and his father is Korean.
Yes.
Next on our list is going to be probably the internet's favorite idol.
And most anticipated.
Bowman, who is supposed to be debuting with Mont. It's a long story.
This whole Mont situation confuses me beyond belief.
Same.
I swear, every time I look on their page, there's different things happening, different people.
And
I don't know what's going on.
they're debuting, and then they're not, and then there's supposed to be more members, and then there's not, and then Bowman is doing so many things on TikTok, and Jay goes on Boys Planet, and I really just don't know what's happening.
I don't know.
But Bowman does have a couple of songs out already, including Suns Up and Ashes.
We love Ashes.
So much. It's so good. I wish it was longer, though. I feel like it's super short.
Yeah,
anyway, he is also rumored to be working on a song called Maybe with Jay.
Maybe they're working on a song together. I don't know.
Who knows? I don't understand this whole situation. Oh, you know what? In the words of our campaign manager Young Kwang, give up and debut with Jungwoo from Boys Planet and
Keita and Kwanjui and Umati and
everyone else from Boys Planet that we absolutely love. But Bowman, we love you.
And we're so excited for your debut. Our last one from New York is Yoonjin. She's from La Seraphim. She was technically born in Korea, but she was raised in New York. She was on Produce 28 and debuted 3 years later, so I feel like she had a pretty quick track there. Also, she's the one that's like been singing opera. Like she like I don't even know her whole story with like schooling and like art school, theater, all that stuff. But she's the one that's been like doing the like all the little memes on TikTok. She's the one that did Yedabun in opera, remember?
Oh, that's so fun. I didn't know that was her. I'm really like I don't know girl groups very much. I'm still getting to know some of them, but that's hilarious.
They're definitely one I want to get into.
I feel like the New York group is so fun.
They honestly are.
I think that wraps up the idols that come from LA and New York. So let's talk about some idols who come from other states.
So Jay's another one that kind of comes to mind a lot when thinking about American idols, and he is from Seattle. He moved to South Korea at age 9, and he trained for 2 years before going on Island and then becoming an Enhypen member.
And of course, our president, Johnny Suh, who is from Chicago. He moved to South Korea at age 13 and was part of one of the SM Rookies groups.
And I feel like he just had like this weird long time in between him joining SM, like this SM Rookies thing, to actually debuting.
I feel like SM has a habit of having really long debut times, to be completely honest.
And we really want to do like a big deep dive into NCT this November and basically have a NCT November. And so I'm excited to learn more about all their journeys just because I know they're all so different.
So definitely stay tuned for that. And also from Chicago, our vice president from B2B, Peniel.
And he moved to South Korea, and I couldn't really find if it was whether like before or during high school, but around that time. And he was actually going to be with JYP before he was with Cube.
That's wild to me.
That doesn't fit, and that feels wrong.
It does. One of the most interesting idols, in my opinion, with this whole American lineage situation is Hyunin Kai from TXT. He was born in Honolulu, Hawaii, but lived there for a month.
Then he went to visit family in South Korea, lived in China for 7 years, and then moved to South Korea at 8. So this family literally moving all over the place.
Yeah, that's really cool, actually.
And so his mother is Korean, but his father is German.
If you're curious about his siblings as well, Leo was born in Texas, but Baya was actually not born in America. Which honestly kind of confused me at first, because when I think of the Hyunin Kai family, I immediately think of them having American roots, but they really don't. They have roots. They're world roots. They're just everywhere.
Honestly, probably one of the most well-known, iconic, a global man is Eric Nam. He's from Atlanta, and he honestly seemed like he lived a very just normal life. Like the whole celebrities, they're just like us. That is Eric Nam.
I mean, he still gives that energy
He
now,
does.
to be
He's
honest.
so genuine and just like very chill. He graduated college with a major in international studies, but a minor in Asian studies, and he became really popular on YouTube, as many of us know. And he was invited by NBC to compete on Star Audition, Birth of a Great Star 2, longest title ever. And he was in top 5. And his career basically just took off from there.
Really cool. Again, you're getting sneak peeks of all of these idols here. Definitely stay tuned for when we do deep dives into these idols, because I feel like their stories are so fun.
Well, and I just love that, like, yes, he is like a K-pop star, like he has music and it's good, but I just think of him so much as like a TV personality. He's so much in that side of entertainment with his like podcast and everything. I mean, I just personally, obviously, like, yeah, I feel like that suits him better because he has such an amazing personality for all of it.
Yeah, that's what I think of first when I hear Eric Nam too. I don't necessarily think of his music, I think of his online persona. And last but not least, we are going to talk about Bobby from iKON, who is from Virginia. He was born in South Korea. but he moved to Virginia at age 10. During his time there, he auditioned for YG and began training, and was on a show called Win Who Is Next.
And now we kind of want to have honorary members, I guess.
Which Bobby kind of falls into as well,
Yeah, that's
because
true.
he was born in South Korea. That's what our honorary members are. They spent either a small time in America or weren't necessarily born there, but let's get into it.
So, Jaehyun, he'd beat us up if we didn't put him in this list. This man will never let you forget that he lived in Connecticut for 5 years. He lived there from age 5 to 10. So it was a decent amount of time.
I'm trying to remember at our NCT concert if I remember him speaking English at all.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of NCT has very good, they either speak English fluently or they have very good accents. Another honorary member is going to be Eric from The Boys. He lived in LA from ages 10 to 15. He honestly gives very American vibes.
I think so too. Like, even if I didn't do research on like who all was born here or like lived here at some point, I would have guessed that.
Yeah.
You're telling me Kyo didn't live here? You're telling me Kyo wasn't born and raised here?
That blows my mind. That Kyo from P1 Harmony is not born here. He gives the most LA vibes I've ever seen in a human being.
Yep. And our last honorary member is I.M or Changun from Monsta X. He lived here for 3 years in Boston, Massachusetts. Learning this history on why he was here was mind-blowing to me.
You told me in the car earlier and I was shook.
They apparently moved here for his dad's job. And he was a scientist, and his dad worked at Harvard. I'm sorry.
What? That's insane.
It's really crazy.
I have a conspiracy theory that I.M was created in a petri dish at Harvard. He's too perfect. That's the only logical explanation.
His dad created. And then this is kind of a joke, but I saw this on TikTok. I don't think I even showed this to you. I need to find it. Somebody said that Honey from Monsta X is a Florida man. And they had this footage of him on stage, and I'm like, why is he giving Florida? And it sounds cringy and it sounds terrible. You're like, is this gonna ruin Honey for me? No, it was hilarious. Like, it was very much Florida.
I'm thinking about him.
It was very chaotic, just very Florida.
Yeah, I'm thinking of him at our concert ripping his shirt open and running around the stage in laps, and I get it. I really do.
I'll have to find that for you, but yeah, maybe he'll be an honorary one. Honorary Floridian.
In other words, Monsta X, come back to Florida when you're coming back around.
Please.
Also, just kind of talking about Monsta X since we are right now, Monsta X probably has some of the best English releases I have heard in K-pop.
100%. Sometimes when idols release English tracks or albums, like, they're not necessarily our favorite, but Monsta X kills it.
They're amazing. They are the best English tracks I've ever heard. Obviously, we're not biased here with Monsta X being some of our favorites, but genuinely, so good. I feel like their English tracks are a great way to subtly get people interested in K-pop because they don't realize they're listening to K-pop because they're speaking English. And I'm like, oh, now you're hooked? Here you go. Before we get into the rest of the episode about our 4th of July celebration and all about American Idols, we're going to take a quick break. If you enjoy our content, make sure you are following the Lunapod wherever you're listening, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and also make sure to give our podcast a rating. We would really appreciate it. Now let's jump right back in.
With enlistment.
Oh, listen, we kind of lucked out here with our American Idols
We did.
because they don't have to enlist.
I know that's like such a scary thing when you're getting into a group and you find out that enlistment even exists.
Right.
And then you're like speed checking everyone's age. You're like, oh no, how much longer do I have with them? And then if they're American, you don't have to worry about it. They don't go.
If they're not born in South Korea, they don't need to go. I remember when I first learned about enlistment in K-pop, I was terrified because I only knew of American military enlistment, and it's scary. A really interesting opportunity that some K-pop idols have gotten, though, is something called KAT USA. Young K from Day 6 was actually the first Korean idol to enlist in KAT USA. And then Byungkwan from Ace was the second idol to be able to get this opportunity. KATUSA is short for Korean Augmentation Troops to the United States Army. It's a very highly admired branch, and it requires a very high degree of fluency in English. So it was really cool to see that they got this opportunity. I didn't even know it was a thing until Byung-Kwan's enlistment popped up.
I remember you were like, what?
Yeah, because we were in line for a boba event outside. Yeah, and it popped up and I was like, what is this?
Like,
and I was so nervous at first, but then I learned that it was actually a really cool opportunity for him, and it's very looked up to. So very happy for them. Really, really cool that they were the first and second K-pop idols to join it.
Honestly, something I'm kind of curious about is if these American idols kind of get like questionably more freedom in the sense of like getting away with scandalous things.
No, you've got a good point here, honestly, because America is kind of known for being a little bit more open and loud about scandalous things, quote, quote. So that would make sense.
One big example of a quote-unquote scandal or dating scandals in America, people eat it up. People are very excited and don't care whatsoever.
Yeah, we see it a lot in our media. That's a huge driving force in if people get popular for a second.
And whereas if that happens to K-pop idols in Korea, that can like ruin your career, because with them, they're basically supposed to be very much single or available for your fans, like just that addition to their persona. And so it's kind of looked down upon, like just any little, I guess, scandal like that.
Definitely not here in America. That is not a thing.
Taylor Swift would be ended.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like she'd be done.
R.I.P. Taylor. She can't come to the phone right now because she's dead. There are some idols who fit the, quote, American vibe really well, in my opinion, including Jessie and Jay Park.
And kind of along with this, like, quote-unquote freedom, as I'm calling it, is I feel like they're just able, like, on their talk shows in Korea, it's very, like, hush-hush on, like, what you can talk about, like, again, drama-wise and, like, scandal-wise. Yeah, very minimal, like, very hush-hush. Whereas here, like, you can just spill all the tea, like, talk about literally anything that you want to.
There are channels dedicated to spilling tea.
Literally. And, I mean, it's very just talking so casually, and we see this with, like, Eric Nam on, like, Daebak Show, and Peniel, Ashley Choi, BM, PH1 on, like, Get Real with Dive Studios. Like, these Dive Studio podcasts are very much just, like, open, chill.
They definitely are giving America.
So it's just kind of something I'm, like, interested in. Like, yes, these shows are, like, based in Korea, but are they able to, like, do all this, get away with this because it's, like, American people?
Yeah.
Or, like, not all of them are American, but you know what I mean?
Do they get more passes
I don't know.
Someone who doesn't have American roots? Yeah, it's really interesting.
Because you're telling me if Jimin was on, like, started Daebak Show, that wouldn't work. There's no way. It wouldn't happen.
Okay, y'all, I know you're all spilling the tea on your podcast shows, but spill the tea, okay? Like the real tea. Like, do you get...
Eric, do you get a freebie?
The next part of this show we have called I'm Proud to Be an American.
Now, my patriotism, not the highest.
Mine's, agreed.
I'll watch some fireworks. I'll walk around the street and watch a parade on 4th of July.
I love a parade.
And I'm patriotic during the Olympics. You don't watch the Olympics.
I watch ice skating.
But these are moments that also make me proud to be an American.
There is a specific TikTok that went around when Taehyung from BTS wore an American flag sweater, and it was a joke of the person doing the TikTok that was like, I'm proud to be an American, and was like
and being just and
saluting it. Like, it was so funny.
Well, and we were watching, what video was that? Was
Stray
it
Kids, Get Lit. Bang Chan also had on American sweater.
He said happy 4th to my American
I'm Australian,
stays.
but yes, America. I also feel proud that Johnny is American in general. He's just one of the most iconic idols out there. What also makes me proud is that America is known for being incredibly hype at concerts, which is so fun. We are partiers here. We are very loud. And so at concerts, we tend to be extremely noisy and very hype. And I know that the idols know this as well because they are a bit more bold at American stops in their concerts.
And again, does that kind of come with the whole like freedom thing? Like
Possibly,
we're not in
yeah.
our country, or we're not in blah blah.
And America's so open about being a little bit more suggestive
Yeah.
and sensual. And so, yeah, kind of. But I love the joke where they're like, what is in the air? What's in their water
Yes,
that they're
what's-
drinking in this concert? Now, it's not just America that they do this, but America just is one of those places that is, quote, more free to do that in, I guess. I don't know. I'm curious.
And this isn't necessarily like a, you know what? It is a proud moment because it was a meme. It made me happy. Whenever we saw TXT and our show went viral because all of our little American, non-Korean speaking MOA selves were horrible.
We're silent.
They were
during
like sing along, had the lyrics on the page.
in Korean.
Help. And they wanted us to sing along, and it was like summer. Dead silent again. And then like during the like summer, we were yelling. We were
Yes.
there. We were happy because they were English lyrics.
They were laughing on stage.
They laughed
so
so hard at us. They went on live afterwards, clowned us. So if you saw on TikTok, that was our show. So yeah, I'm proud to be an oblivious American.
we try.
I'm an oblivious
okay?
meme-worthy American.
That's kind of our brand. Also, though, at the TXT concert, I know we're going a bit into this, go check out our TXT concert review, which will be out soon. They also sang Cat and Dog, the English version, for the first time live at our stop.
Oh, that was really cool. I forgot that.
Yeah. Anyway, that kind of wraps up this chaos chapter. Happy 4th of July.
Play with some sparklers.
But be careful. Those things are hot.
Hot.
Anyway, before we go, we are going to do our song of the moment. This week, it is going to be...
Overdrive by I Am.
This literally just dropped like yesterday at the time of recording.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
So sorry. I'm a mom baby. This is my old group. Let me go on a tangent here for a baby second. A mom baby second.
That's cute.
A baby second.
A baby second.
I'm sorry, but their solo work is top tier. This group, again, biased, but this group literally has some of the best soloists.
They do. They have the best soloists, the best English tracks, the best lyrics, the best everything.
I love them to death. Like, obviously, check out the other members' solo work, but definitely check out Overdrive. I know that boy spent his entire budget on that music video, so please support him. He needs to make his money back.
As always, you can find us on Twitter, TikTok, and YouTube at The Lunapod. You can also find us on Instagram at The Luna Podcast for up-to-date information on episode releases and behind-the-scenes fun. We post all sorts of content, so definitely make sure to follow us and check that out. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next week. Bye!
Bye.